Welcome to day 3 of our Easter Schools Week online. I'm so glad that you can join us today, and I hope that you're enjoying exploring the Easter story with us. Our first reading from the Bible today is from the book of Mark in the New Testament. I'm going to read from chapter 15, verses 21 to 27. Jesus is crucified. On the way, they met a man named Simon who was coming into the city from the country, and the soldiers forced him to carry Jesus' cross. Simon was from Cyrene and was the father of Alexander and Rufus. They took Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. There they tried to give him wine mixed with a drug called myrrh, but Jesus would not drink it. Then they crucified him and divided his clothes among themselves, throwing dice to see who would get which piece of clothing. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. The notice of the accusation against him said, "The King of the Jews." Our next reading is from Luke's Gospel, from chapter 23, verses 44 to 49. It was about 12 o'clock when the sun stopped shining and darkness covered the whole country until 3 o'clock. And the curtain hanging in the temple was torn in two. Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I place my spirit." He said that and died. The army officer saw what had happened, and he praised God, saying, "Certainly he was a good man." When the people who had gathered there to watch the spectacle saw what happened, they all went back home, beating their breasts in sorrow. All of those who knew Jesus personally, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance to watch.
Simon, a man from North Africa, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was a long way from home. He was walking into the city of Jerusalem early in the morning during the Passover festival. It was a Friday, preparation day, the day before the special Sabbath rest. He had a lot to do, things to get ready and people to meet. Was he a God-fearer? Had he come to Jerusalem to visit the temple, say prayers, celebrate the Passover with family and friends? It seemed likely. Jerusalem was packed with visitors, all come to enjoy Passover. And that was the problem. Even so early in the morning, the streets were blocked by the crowd. Simon couldn't move for people everywhere. He noticed that they were all surging towards him, leaving the city in some sort of procession. It wasn't the usual happy Passover crowd either. There was shouting and crying too. Simon felt unease stirring in his stomach. The people kept pressing forward, but Simon couldn't get out of the way. Then, right in front of him, the mass of people parted, pushed aside by a squad of Roman soldiers. The soldiers were shouting, swearing, waving their swords about, trying to clear the way. Behind the soldiers, he caught a glimpse of 3 men, bent double, stumbling slowly forwards under the weight of heavy wooden crossbeams, which was when he realized there was going to be an execution. Criminals being taken out of the city to the hill of Golgotha, the place of the skull. A crucifixion. Simon felt sick. He hated the Romans. Everyone did. They were so cruel. Suddenly, The centurion loomed up in front of him, grabbing the neck of his tunic, shouting right in his face, "You, what's your name?" "Simon, sir. Simon of Cyrene." The soldier scolded, examining Simon closely, assessing how strong he was. "You do." Then with a nasty smile he said, "Right, Simon of Cyrene, pick it up." He pointed to a large wooden crossbeam, now at Simon's feet. One of the men was crouched under it, face down. "He can't carry it any further. Come on, be quick about it." Simon stood still in shock. The soldier gave him a shove, and awkwardly he bent to heft the heavy beam upwards across his back. The wood was rough, scratching his hands. Simon paused to balance himself and then set off with the centurion towards Skull Hill. The criminal struggled, slowly behind him, and the crowds urged them on, jeering and shouting, sometimes getting in the way. The soldiers had to fight to hold them back, to keep control. Simon tried to catch a glimpse at the man now limping at his side. His eyes were drawn to him, and there was a brief moment when their eyes met, locked. And in that moment, Simon felt his whole world tilt. He felt unbalanced as a crossbeam on his shoulders. Simon found out later that the man's name was Jesus. Despite all that was going on, he had the calmest eyes Simon had ever seen. Kind eyes, beautiful eyes. It was as if somehow he was in charge here and knew what was going on. He looked at Simon as though he recognized him, knew that they would meet like this, as if he already knew Simon, really knew him. He thought he saw gratitude too as the man accepted his help. The impression was gone as quickly as it came. Simon tried to push these ideas away, thinking his mind was being playing tricks on him. But the feeling stayed with him, a warm feeling of being loved. Loved by this stranger? The next few minutes passed quickly in a blur. They were there. The soldiers hauled the cross from him and pushed him out of the way. Jesus was fixed to the cross, and the cross was put securely in place. Simon stood there, dazed. A voice in his head screamed, "Run, Simon, run as fast as you can, and don't stop. Get out of here." But his legs trembled. He felt weak, rooted to the spot. No one was looking at him now, so he just stood and watched. His mouth was dry with thirst in the sweltering heat of the day. He watched as a few friends and family members crouched as close to the crosses as the soldiers would allow. He watched as the soldiers played a game of dice to see who would win the victim's clothing. He watched as the soldiers hung up a notice above Jesus' head which read, "The King of the Jews." He watched as the sky turned black in the middle of the day. The earth shook, splitting rocks apart. Simon was really scared now. The King of the Jews? Was he being crucified for being a king? Surely, Simon thought, this was not a crime. He certainly didn't seem like the criminal, not like the other two. Would they dare to kill a king? Was he innocent after all? It didn't make any sense to Simon. The soldiers thought something was not quite right too. This Jesus was different. When he died later on, the centurion actually said, "Surely this was a good man, the Son of God." The Son of God? The thought hit Simon like a punch to his stomach. Could this be true? The Son of God? What had they done? And what now? Jesus was dead, and Simon felt exhausted, cold inside. He suddenly remembered that he was on his way into the city when all this started. It seemed more than just a few short hours ago. If he hurried, he could still get where he needed to be before the Sabbath began, when no one could travel. He needed to change out of his filthy clothes before the rest day started. It would be harder to wash away the experiences of the day. When he closed his eyes, he could still see Jesus. He could see Jesus' eyes looking into his eyes. He could feel his presence. Just before Jesus died, he had said, "It is finished." But what did he mean by that? What was finished? What was Jesus saying he had done? Simon didn't know, but he had an odd feeling that for him, something was only just about to begin.